The most manipulative face in your house does not belong to a human. It belongs to the dog sitting beside a destroyed shoe, lowering its head, lifting its eyebrows, and looking at you as if its entire heart has just broken. You come home tired. The hallway is a crime scene. Your favorite shoe is shredded across the floor. You turn toward the suspect, and there it is, the face. Ears back. Body low. Eyes wide, wet, and unbearable. You raise your voice. Did you do this? And suddenly, your anger starts to collapse. Because you think you understand that look. You think it means guilt. You think it means shame. You think your dog knows it did something wrong and is silently begging for forgiveness. But what if that is the trick? What if your dog is not apologizing at all? What if that face is not a confession, but a survival signal so effective that humans have been rewarding it for thousands of years? This is where the romance starts to break. Humans are experts at seeing human emotions in non-human faces. We call it anthropomorphism. We look at a dog's lowered head and soft eyes, and we translate it into our own moral language: regret, guilt, remorse. But a dog may not be thinking, "I have violated a rule." It may be thinking something much older. The human is angry. The room is unsafe. Make the anger stop. Studies on the so-called guilty look have shown something uncomfortable. Dogs often make that face when their owners scold them, even when they did not actually do the forbidden thing. The expression is not reliable proof that the dog knows it is guilty. It is more closely tied to your reaction. Your voice changes. Your posture changes. Your face changes. And the dog responds. Not with a legal confession. With appeasement. That word matters. Appeasement is a peace signal. It is what social animals use when tension rises and conflict could become dangerous. Lower the head. Soften the eyes. Make the body smaller. Show the other animal you are not a threat. In the wild, that can keep you alive. In your hallway, it can save the relationship. But dogs did not stop there. Evolution gave them something almost unfair. Domestic dogs have a facial muscle around the eyes called the levator anguli oculi medialis. It helps lift the inner eyebrow, creating the classic puppy dog eyes, larger, rounder, sadder, more childlike. And here is the strange part. Wolves, their closest wild relatives, do not have this muscle developed in the same way. So that face was not simply inherited from the wolf. It was shaped during domestication, in the long emotional negotiation between humans and dogs. The disturbing part is not that dogs learned to move us. The disturbing part is that we selected the dogs that could. For thousands of years, the dogs that made humans soften had an advantage. The dogs that triggered care, protection, forgiveness, and food were more likely to survive near us. We did not sit down and design puppy dog eyes. We did something more powerful. We kept loving the dogs that looked back at us like children. And over generations, love sculpted anatomy. That is the real twist. Puppy dog eyes are not just an expression. They are an interface between two nervous systems. When your dog looks into your eyes, your brain does not treat it like a random animal staring at you. Mutual gaze between dogs and humans can activate bonding chemistry. Oxytocin rises. Attention narrows. Anger weakens. Attachment takes over. The ruined shoe is still on the floor. But now your brain is fighting biology. One part of you wants to punish. Another part wants to protect. And the dog's face is pushing directly into that ancient caregiving system. That is why the look works. Not because your dog has written a moral apology in its mind. Because its body has learned the shape of your mercy. This does not make dogs fake. It does not make them evil. A dog is not sitting in the corner plotting how to manipulate your hormones. The truth is more unsettling and more beautiful. Dogs became fluent in us. They learned our anger, our softness, our routines, our voices, our thresholds. They learned which gestures bring food, which sounds mean danger, which expressions mean the human is no longer safe. And somewhere along the way, their faces changed to speak to ours. So, when your dog gives you that look, it may not be guilt. But it is not meaningless. It is communication. It is a bridge built from muscle, hormone, fear, attachment, and thousands of years of shared survival. This is where wild qualia becomes impossible to enter. What does that moment feel like inside the dog's mind? Maybe it feels like confusion. Maybe fear. Maybe attachment. Maybe only the urgent need to make the angry human safe again. We do not know. We can study behavior, facial muscles, oxytocin, and domestication. But we cannot fully step into the private world of a dog. We do not know whether the destroyed shoe exists as a wrong act or only as an old object, a changed room, an angry voice, and a desperate need to restore peace. That difference matters. Because when we believe dogs know they did wrong, we often punish them as if they understand human morality. We turn their appeasement into a confession. We mistake fear for remorse. And that can damage the very bond we think we are defending. The better question is not, does my dog feel guilty like a human? The better question is, what is my dog trying to survive in this moment? Maybe it is not the memory of the shoe. Maybe it is you. So the next time you come home to a destroyed shoe and those unbearable eyes, pause before you call it guilt. That face may not be an apology. It may be evolution, speaking through a raised eyebrow. A wolf once stood outside the firelight. Then it came closer. Then its face changed. Then our brains changed with it. And now, in your hallway, beside the evidence of a very expensive mistake, you are seeing one of the strangest bargains in natural history. Not a lie. Not a confession. A silent request from one species to another, please do not turn away from me.